FBI/CIA agents of Reddit. What's something that you can tell us without killing us? I worked with the Australian Federal Police with the Spider Squad doing computer stuff for them in regards to pedos and finding trafficking victims. It is the most heartbreaking work, but when you get them, the office looked like NASA after a Mars landing undefined. I was an analyst. Not an agent, officer. 85% of all classified material is classified because of how it was collected. Not because it is juicy, useful. Yes. You boss and co-workers said that speak about you. My dad worked for GCHQ in the 80s doing voice recognition, and he can't say anything more for a decade more. The way they can recognize you by Siri/Google today was being used in the 80s. Just a bit slower. My high school girlfriend worked for the National Reconnaissance Office after college. At the time, they were responsible for analyzing the nation's spy satellite photos. She told me two things. 1. There's a special garbage chute for classified materials. It's in the hallway. When you are new. As a hazing ritual, they tell you have to shout your badge number down the chute before throwing in any materials. This is hilarious. 2. She wouldn't tell me anything about the resolution quality of the spy photos. Of course. But she did let it slip that because Russian sailors will sunbathe nude on the decks of their submarines in the Black Sea, several women in the office would pin those photos up in their cubicles as beefcake photos. So a few decades ago, US spy photos could resolve Russian penis. Undefined. Met an old, retired CIA spook at a wedding reception. Spitting image of Colonel Sanders. He was amazing. So I asked him, I don't want you to tell me anything you can't. But I'd love to know. When Kennedy got killed, what was the talk around the water cooler in the office? He didn't halt. Or pause to think. Hell. We all thought Johnson did it. We are all told never to use sites like this, and social media in general is pretty much a no-go. My dad worked for the government. And he told me that anytime he had a meaningful interaction with someone who wasn't American, going over to my friend's house for Lunar New Year, or going on vacation to Canada, he had to report it all. And if he saw anything suspicious. There is a book called Moscow Rules. It was written by two CIA people. All about, well, disguise. The CIA had all these agents in Russia. But the Russians were insane about following literally every single American in Russia. 24/7. Looking for spies. So a huge part of their job was trying to shake off the KGB. They had crazy quick change disguises. All sorts of stuff. The movie Argo was based on one of the writers somewhat. If you go through the FBI interview process, it takes a while. Chances are you're going to have to spend some time working on crimes against children. Which is really tough, and most people don't want to do it. An ex-company man once told me Get Smart was more accurate than James Bond. Worked with a woman who was former NSA. We would always beg her to tell us speep. But she never did. The one thing she did say, though, was that during training they show them a video of a bunch of things they found out about and stopped. She said she hardly slept for 2 weeks after watching that. Not CIA, but have worked with and know guys in intelligence. Most of the intelligence we get is from OSINT, open source intel. E-news articles. Press releases. News networks and government announcements. Most people think that everyone in intelligence is some James Bond/Jason Bourne type of individual, when in reality, the majority of analysts sit at a desk and go through news articles all day. That said, that's not the only method we have to gather intel. But it is where most of it comes from. Even analysts that are using other methods such as GeoInt, IMINT and SIGINT spend their day cropping images for minute details or replaying and monitoring the same signal over and over again.